Have you ever looked around at your life and just thought, how did I end up here? And I don't mean this in any sort of dramatic way or anything like that. It's just in that, low key kind of way where you just feel a little bit blah. You're not miserable, but you're not lit up either. You've lost that spark. You've stopped doing the things that bring you joy, or at least used to bring you joy. And somehow you've slipped into a version of yourself that just isn't really you. And if that's you right now, then this episode is for you. Welcome to Lounging with Laurie, the Sisterhood Collective podcast. If you've ever wondered what small steps can lead to big change, or how to break through challenges to create a fulfilling life, you have come to the right place. I'm Loz, and this podcast is all about real women sharing their stories, sharing their lessons, and the actions that have helped them grow and thrive. With a mix of my own experiences and inspiring conversations with women just like you, we're creating a space where you'll laugh, learn, and leave ready to take action. Let's dive in. This is Lounging with Laurie, the Sisterhood Collective podcast. Now, this topic has been bubbling away at me since I returned from my recent trip to Australia and New Zealand, which was just last week. But you know what? For the first time in 12 years, I actually switched off on this holiday. I didn't have my international roaming connected on my phone. I didn't have to check in on my businesses. And I literally didn't do that. There were no expectations. It was just me being able to be me. And, when I returned home here, that's when it hit me like a ton of bricks, actually, that the reason I felt so good, so relaxed, so free, so alive, was because I'd removed myself from my routine, from my normal, and, from my normal grind. And by the way, I actually really quite like routine. It's generally how I work well, but not necessarily the routine that I was just in. And sometimes that's just how we feel. We get stuck in this space where we're just, turning the cogs. And this particular trip reminded me what it feels like to actually live. And, I felt this sense of freedom. So today I thought I'd like to share some of that story with you. And I thought I would cover how to know when you've fallen into a rut, even if life looks fine on paper or to social media, to your friends. Why a change in environment is probably one of the fastest ways to reset your spark. And then maybe some simple ways just to shake up life, bring back that energy, the motivation, and that the you-ness, that part that's been missing. So probably the hardest thing would be recognizing that you're in a rut, because we are creatures of habit, which is fine, but only when the habit serves us. Because routine can slowly pull us into this kind of numbness, this space where you're not actually aware. You're doing all the things, you're ticking all the boxes, but deep down you're feeling flat. And hello, being guilty. So what are the signs that you're stuck? And, where I've come up with these few signs are personally, obviously I've had some of these experiences myself, but even mentoring many, many business owners over the years and talking to friends as well. I feel like the most common signs are things like, when you've gained a few kilos, but more than that, because there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it's the part where you're feeling heavy, you're feeling sluggish, and you're probably feeling a little bit unmotivated to do the things that you used to do. And another sign I find is becoming more common is canceling plans that you used to, of the things that you used to do. Or worse than that is you're not even making plans anymore. And that's when people become lonely, I think. Maybe also another sign would be the things that you used to love, dinner parties, catch-ups, maybe going for long walks in nature, or if you're me, dancing in the kitchen whilst I'm cooking. But they've started to quietly disappear from your week. And the biggest one, and I think the most important one, is that you've stopped laughing out loud. Here's a question. When's the last time you had that really cool, loud belly laugh moment? I'll share one with you soon. Because all of these little signs, they sneak up on you. I feel like sometimes you don't even know when the last time you laughed out loud was. Or you don't know what you used to love and what used to be in your week that kind of fulfilled you because they've just kind of slowly dropped off. But no one's going to call you out on these sorts of things because everyone else is in this same spiral, burnout, tired, overwhelmed. And sometimes, just getting through the day feels like enough. But my question is that the you that you want to be? Because I've literally found myself there just recently where I'm like, hang on a second, this isn't the Loza that I want to be. Where's this motivation gone? Why am I doing these few little bad habits? So how do we shift that? And, what's the way back to becoming the you, the you that you want to be? If you want to feel different, obviously, you've got to do something different. And one of the fastest ways to change your emotional state is to change your environment. That trip home for me, I didn't train every day. I ate what I felt like, not what I thought I should have. I slept in. I walked in nature. I laughed. I hugged my family. I wasn't on a schedule. And then I came back lighter, not physically. In fact, I think I maintained my weight, which was fabulous. But mentally and spiritually, I was lighter. I felt good. That spark that you're chasing, it is waiting for you on the other side of your current comfort zone. I remember when I was really stuck in business with my first big business, which was Ultra CrossFit. And, I was working crazy 16, 18-hour days. Like those initial days for the first 6 months were really, really long. And my business was 7 days a week. And so I was working hard and I was tired and I was burning out. And the way that I used to reset was going away for a night. I'd go up to the coast, I'd spend a night in this beautiful little hotel, and I'd get out with nature, I'd have a beautiful dinner, and it was just, I'd come back literally just one night away, doing something different, and felt amazing. And then I just get back into life. So this kind of scenario definitely works. When we're in the same spaces, seeing the same people, having the same conversations, we stop growing. Your brain craves novelty, change, challenge. And also, for me, certainly is stimulation. And even driving a different route to work can reset your brain's focus. You know what? In fact, I was driving somewhere literally this morning. And because I was off with the fairies thinking about something, next minute I found myself, maybe 5 minutes up the road. I couldn't even remember, I didn't even remember going through the last set of traffic lights or passing that last landmark. I just lost that time being off with the fairies. So changing the way that you drive and just doing these little things just can really help you focus. So how do we shake things up? And in a way that fits your life right now, because this is about you. You can't copy anybody else. No one else's changes will, or lifestyle will work. So a few of the ideas and strategies that I've used before is booking that weekend away. Like even just that overnight stay somewhere is new. Maybe even just going to the beach for an entire day. Another thing I think is important that has worked for me is trying a new hobby. And I've been trying different hobbies for a long time because I feel like, well, I actually love business. I love talking about it. I love doing it. I love being in it. And people say to me that that's not a hobby. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. And it's like, well, what is a hobby? And I'd say the gym. They're like, it's not really a hobby. I'll leave that up to you, whether you think it is or not. So anyway, for me, I am trying new things. And so more recently, I've started gardening a little bit. Now, I'm not the best green thumb in the world, but I take pride in my little garden at the moment. I quite love it. And that's my new hobby. But other ways and other things, I think, maybe go kayaking. Do what I did, which was I love coffee. So I thought, hey, I'm going to go do a barista course and learn more about it. And then when I was visiting the UAE a few years ago, I went and did a 6-hour tasting course to learn even more about it. It was just quite stimulating. Of course, as you know, I then went and set up a coffee shop of which I knew nothing about initially, but just went with the flow and went with the passion and learned as I went. And everyone knows about that little fun adventure, which was great. But that started off as a hobby. I'm kind of a little bit obsessed with it, but you could join a run club, you could go hiking, you can paint something. There's just be creative. I was watching Instagram, I think, the other day, and one of my friends was knitting. I'm like, oh, that's so cool, because she's young, and you generally think that knitting is what, my grandmother used to do or my great-grandmother used to do, but you can do anything, and just doing something different, it's just stimulating. Another idea though, for me, as you know, I'm into my fitness, but even just changing my training environment. So instead of just going up to the gym here, maybe it's going to one of my F45 businesses, or maybe it's going and meeting a girlfriend for a walk outdoors along the beach, or taking the dogs somewhere, or even going somewhere else, trying a new yoga studio to maybe even meet people. Just, there might be a new connection out there waiting for me, but also my body doesn't do yoga. So why not give that a go? Do something different. But my favorite one, and what really works for me, this strategy, is accountability. And I just learned this really recently, is that I thrive on accountability. I quite like it. It's how I work well. And that's whether, if I cannot find the motivation to do my own personal training, go, walking or whatever, then I will hire a personal trainer, even if it's only once or twice a week, or even if they're just providing me with an online, training program. But you can hire a life coach, a business mentor, which I've just done, someone that can help me with my business strategy. It could be just a friend, but it's having that someone to call you out, which will actually call you forward. Lauren's my other person for that as well. To tell her everything, and I do want her to hold me accountable. Look, most people say they want change, and this is what I'm finding. But the reality is only about 5% are actually going to do something about it. Because the truth is, change is hard. It takes effort. It takes honesty, integrity. But my question is, aren't you worth that effort? The version of you that feels energized, inspired, full of life, that thriving self, she's not lost. She's just been buried under routine, responsibilities, and a little too much comfort. And you don't need to flip your life upside down. You don't need to interrupt the mundane. But do something that lights you up. Step away from the noise. Let yourself remember what it feels like to be you. And if you need a nudge, that's what I'm here for. We do have the free Sisterhood Lounge Room. It's a free group there. It's our space where women are doing life with intention. And this month, actually, in the lounge room, our whole topic for the month is living life with intention. So if you'd like to join that, you can find the link in the show notes. You'll find us on Instagram and all those other good places. But jump in there and let us know what you're doing differently this week. And we'll be right there cheering you on. I check everything. I respond to comments. I can't help myself. I love kind of connecting with people. So I hope I do see you in there. But otherwise, remember, small steps lead to big wins. So keep showing up. Keep backing yourself. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you for joining us on the Sisterhood Collective podcast. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. And if you want to be the first to hear what is new at Sisterhood Collective, you can find out more on our Instagram, or you can sign up to receive our weekly newsletter and let the good times continue to roll. Now it's time to turn your clear vision into bold action. I'm Laurie Drummond, your host, and until next time, keep striving to live that best life. Take care, and we'll see you soon.